I'm Natalie of So Hungry Hippie, and tonight I'm here live with you, so I won't be in the comments right now, but Ramel is there, and I think
Hi.
probably Michelle,
Hi, everyone.
hopefully. And I hope I can do this tutorial for you really well, because guess what? I can't find my popping foot.
I helped you look everywhere
We
too.
looked
So,
everywhere.
yeah.
Classic Natalie, leave it to the last hour.
But
Oh well.
you were so organized. So you probably put it in the bag that you made, thinking this is where it's going to be from here on out, and then you forgot about that bag. You see,
I'll go with that.
that's the thing about being super organized.
I mean, to be so organized that you cannot locate the essential tool.
It's
But you
happened to
know
me
what?
before.
As classic Santini mode, right? Or So Hungry Hippie mode, we are going to wing it. And if you don't have a cording foot, you can do the same thing as me with a zipper foot. Okay? That's how I'm going to do my demo. It does work. You just have to be more accurate and careful. If you have a piping foot, there's a groove on the underside where your piping goes into, and as you're sewing, it just stays in that groove and it will never move. It won't, you can't mess it up, basically, okay? But since I don't have that, I will show you how it's done without it. Now, when you think of piping, I grabbed some pictures off the internet since I don't have an example here at the store with me. Do you want to show those real quick, Ramel?
Of piping?
The piping examples, the photos that I grabbed
Oh yeah.
off the internet?
Here, I'm gonna start right now.
Okay. So this is a bag. See that gray piping detail towards the bottom there? That's what I'm talking about. This is from Fort Worth Studio. This is a random pic of a bustier, whatever you want to call it. All that white is piping detail, very cool. The lime green on this curve here, that's piping detail on this dress. It looks like they put it in the arm scythe as well. And this is a bag from So Sweetness. Sarah Lawson is my friend, and I grabbed this from her. That pink piping all around the bag, it's just that little detail. It really makes it pop. It's fun to do, and once you do it, it's like riding a bike. You'll be able to do it forevermore. I do have some things that I utilize to help me that I'm going to show you. And one of those techniques is using double-sided sticky tape. I really advocate using this because then things are not going to shift on you, especially if you're using a zipper foot like I will be. So, shall we get into this? I'm going to take you overhead and show you a couple quick examples here. If you can scooch in, Ramel.
I'm gonna zoom in.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so here is some piping that I just made with this little cording here, and I will show you how to do that. And then I inserted it between these two fabrics. And see how the diagonal stripe is so cool? It's just such a cute little detail. And then this one I did, this is made with Wright's already made piping, which I use all the time when using piping because then I don't have to make it. And there's the pop of color there. All right, so let me show you, like this is some piping that I've been using in my past projects, and this is how it looks. I did put black, white, berry, and I think black oyster, that's what I did. Instead of white, I got oyster, which is this off-white color. See the difference? I listed oyster, black, and navy on the website right now from this kind of a package. You get 2.5 yards. I think it's $3. It's really a time saver. So that is on there. I also listed some cording, but it's 1/4 inch. So this one looks to me like 830. No, it's probably 530 seconds. I don't know. I'll have to investigate later. This is a really tiny piping. I listed both cotton and polyester 1/4 inch piping, I believe, on the website in 5 yards and 10 yards. Now here's the difference. If you're going to use cotton piping, you have to wash it and dry it before you use it in your project, if you plan on washing your project at the ends, because it will shrink. It's the nature of cotton. So I do usually like to use the polyester cording because it's not going to shrink on you. And most of the time it's cotton polyester, it's like a mix. So those don't tend to shrink as much as 100% cotton. Okay, so what do you want to see first? How to make the piping? You can do it from any fabric in your stash. That's what makes this so fun. So I'm going to use this Ruby Star.
I do have a question.
Oh, yeah.
After you're done with the piping, how
Yeah.
do you add it to your project, or whatever project you're doing?
I'm going to show you.
Oh, well, all right.
I'm going to show you. So let's just hope I can do it on the fly, right? Without thinking too hard. Okay, so I'm going to take you overhead. And this, when you do piping, you really do want to cut it on the bias. Can you scooch in, Ramel? People don't need to see my mess.
Well, it's kind of hard to do it right now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, let me move this. Oh, there, that's better. Yeah, that looks like a cleaner setup. So when I cut this strip, I cut it on the bias. Okay, and that allows a bit of stretch. And you want that with piping, especially if you're going to be sewing curves. So you would take your strip, and this is where your cording sits inside. Now, this is what I do because it's much easier than fiddling around with pins and clips and all that nonsense. I'm just going to take a strip of this double-sided sticky tape, which we have in the shop. This is from By Annie. I use it all the time. You've seen me use this so many times in my tutorials. So I'm going to peel the paper away and then sit this cording in here. I'm not going to worry about it being in exactly the right place. What I need to worry about is that I'm lining up those edges and they are even. Is my head in the way?
A little bit.
Okay, well, you got to tell me.
It's not that bad.
Okay, now you might go, oh no, Natalie, you have a wrinkle. I don't care because when this gets sewn in, that is not going to be seen. But I should care, and what you need to do is not pull on your fabric while you're folding over the fabric. Sorry, I got distracted there for a minute. You know, Renelle, sometimes I wonder if I have ADD.
Well, one of the flags is leaving things for the last minute because you feel excitement about it. I don't know. I read that somewhere. I don't even know if it's true.
No, you didn't.
Hey, I'm on the same boat as you, then, if that's the case.
He told me before we went live, I think you like this adrenaline rush when like everything is slammed in the last 20 minutes. I don't. But then I thought, well, maybe it's like being back in the OR. Boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
Just like my compression socks that I wear every day. It's like memories. What? Did you see Barbra Streisand just got some kind of Lifetime Achievement Award? About time.
Oh, no, I didn't.
See, there I go with another random thought. Okay, so I think I covered my lights enough. I'm going to switch you to the sewing machine where we're going to sew the cording inside this fabric, okay? Here we go. Now, the thing here that you want to pay attention to is you don't want to get right up next to the cording. You don't want to do that yet. You want to be a little bit further this way because when we go to sew this in, we don't want any stitches showing from when we made the piping. So that's when we're going to get up tight next to the cording, okay? So this time I've loaded this with white and black. This time I'm going to show you, I've got my zipper foot on. This is not your official cording foot. And I'm going to change this so that when I stop, my needle is down. I'm sewing on a different machine in case you didn't notice. This is my Bernina 350. I've had her for 8 years. I got her at the first QuiltCon I think that I went to, which is just wrapping up in Raleigh this year. I didn't go this year. So I'm not pulling, I'm not stretching it. I just want to chill sew this on. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to needle up. this. And now I've got my piping here. Can you see that? Here's the black. Can you zoom in?
Yeah.
Okay, so see how it's sewn in here? And now when I take my sample fabric, let me get some white fabric so it's very easily seen. Let's cut off a piece of this. Okay, so now when I'm going to place my binding, I'm going to match raw edges with raw edges, okay? And then we're gonna sew it in and then place the other piece of fabric. Now again, this is what I do because it helps me very much. I take my double-sided sticky tape. Can you zoom out a little bit? That's a little tight. There's no in between, Ramel?
No.
Come on.
I'm going to try it.
You're going to have to upgrade the system so we can have in-betweens.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my double-sided sticky tape.
Here, I got this one here. How's that?
There you go, that's better. I'm going to place it sticky side down along the edge. Now, if you don't want to use all that double-sided sticky tape, you can pin or you can use clips. I don't like to because guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to use another layer and I'm going to sew both fabrics at the same time so it's less time and less stitching for me. When I used to production sew and take my stuff to local fairs and stuff, I had to have hundreds of items because, you know, Ramel was depending on me to bring home some money. So I developed all kinds of time-saving techniques. There we go. Now we're going to take this, right sides together, piping is sandwiched in between, and we're going to sew it on. I can see my previous stitching line because I had black in my bobbin. I can see it here, and I want to be further left. I want to be closer to the cording. Even if you can't see it, you can feel your cording. And a lot of times what I'll do is adjust my needle. So this, on this machine, I can make my needle go further left. And I just push it as far left as it can possibly go. And then I'm good. Huh? Sure. Ooh, fancy. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that my needle isn't going to hit the foot. This is the zipper foot, remember? It looks good. And so now I'm going to sew as close to that piping that I can without sewing on the piping. Again, don't push and pull. Go as slow as you need to go. Can you see, or am I blocking? Huh?
On the right?
No, it's over here.
Oh, okay.
For now. Don't confuse people. Okay, let's go back over here. Now we're going to flip it. See how that's looking? Ooh la la. And now we're going to go to the iron and press it.
Oh, wait, give me a second.
Okay, I will. I'm going to take it to the front.
Yeah, you can go there now.
So you don't get busy. I mean dizzy. Get busy. I can go there now?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I can press my fabrics away from the piping and make sure that I was pretty accurate when I sewed. If I wasn't, I can just unpick and redo it. It's not the end of the world.
People are asking what's the name of your rotary cutter?
My rotary cutter?
Yeah.
That's my Havels. I think we have those in the shop.
Yeah.
That's the 60 that I'm using right now. I just ordered more 60s and 45s. So if you don't see them in the shop, they'll be listed this week. I don't remember if I took that down or not. And we'll have refill blades too. I think the 45s are listed right now.
Are you going to go to the machine now?
Nope,
Okay.
not yet. So that's how you make your piping and then insert it. I'm just showing you in between two fabrics. Okay, so what are some questions so far? Do we have any?
No, nothing yet.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you're doing piping, you might want to use a leader and an ender. It just depends on your machine.
What does that do?
A leader is, oops, you're not on my machine anymore.
You didn't tell me.
Oh, go to the machine.
Okay.
So a leader is when you start sewing and you don't want your fabric to get pushed down in the holes there on the sewing plate. Sometimes, I don't know why, with piping, you want to start with your leader there. So it almost happened to me earlier, and that's why I'm bringing it up. So just food for thought. I'm sure they know what I'm talking about with leader and enders.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm just asking, so I understand now.
Okay.
But I'm good. I'm good.
So with that, do you need me to show you how to sew in? Oh, I know what I should show you is on a curve. I do this a little bit differently than some people. I want my curves to be really snappy and sharp and looking nice. So what I do is treat it like I would when I'm quilting a curve, I guess is the right thing to say. Let me cut a curve. Let's go overhead. I'm going to cut a curve. So curves would be sometimes in a bag, or like if you're doing princess seams on a garment, you want that curve to be looking really sharp, right? And sometimes you can get the binding to manipulate with your iron, but not always. And so what I started doing is snipping up to this stitching right here. Every like half an inch. Don't go too crazy. But it's just enough to give that strip some extra bendiness. I'm calling that a word. Because what is the worst is when you start having like roller coaster bumps in the piping. You don't want to mess with that. So if you can cut the snips and then press it into place, it'll just save you a headache. Because nobody's got time for headaches. Okay, I'm going to take this to the iron, Ramel, so get that set up, please. What, did you think you weren't going to have to work tonight? I mean, really? Okay, I think I've got all my snips done. Again, just because it's easier and because this tape is cheap, I'm going to do some double-sided sticky tape. Okay, bring it, Carol. I have piping that my mom had for years. How do you tell if it's cotton or polyester? If you don't have the package, then I don't know. I guess you'd have to be a connoisseur of how it feels. But I don't think it really matters. Oh, you mean the naked piping? Like it's not in a package? If it's like this, it's polyester. See, 65% polyester, 35% cotton. This is a really old pack. I got these at a boot sale in England.
Yeah, so she had it. She had it from her mom for years. That's what she said.
Right, but Ramel, the difference is, I don't know if it's a naked piping, so just the cording, or if it's packaged. That's what I'm clarifying.
Okay.
So you can always give it a wash and a dry to be on the safe side. That'd be fine. It won't hurt it. Did you know you're supposed to do that with elastic?
No.
I know. I often skip it, but you're supposed to. I've regretted it once or twice because then my elastic is real tight. Let's go overhead a sec.
Is the glue from the washi tape washable?
This is not washi tape. This is double-sided sticky tape.
The glue from the tape.
Yes, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Stop worrying so much. Okay. Now we're going to go to the iron. I'm going to press this in place a bit.
You can go to the iron.
I can? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can do it for you.
Well, I would think you would.
Well, I've been moving. Oh, she said not package in a big wad.
Oh, in a big wad? Yeah, then I would probably wash it, Carol, just to be safe, because it won't hurt it if it is or isn't. And you would want it shrunk before you used it. Okay, so because this is a curve, I'm going to sew this first, yeah?
Yeah, you're changing the camera.
Oh, you know what, Ramel? Let me cut the piece that goes on top of this first.
Okay.
And then we'll go to the machine.
All right, here's another question.
All right. Any pointers for using vinyl instead of fabric? Just practice. It's no different. Just practice and use a really sharp needle. Go slowly. You'll be fine. I think my next bag pattern will probably have piping and vinyl together. But it's no different. Microtex needle. Use all the double-sided sticky tape you need to. Use your good machine that you're comfortable with sewing on. And you should be golden.
Hennessy's asking, are those your glasses with the magnetic front?
Yes, they are. I have this in a blog post on my website if you want some. If you want the exact model and whatnot. I get a lot, you wouldn't believe how many emails I get asking for the model and make and all that. So I put it in there. I put it on the website, SoHungryHippie.com. Oh, I ran out of tape on this one.
Okay, let me get you some more.
No, I've got extra here. I always have another wheel available. So right now I'm just applying more tape along this curve. Usually I would sew that first and then take another pass, but let's live dangerously for a minute and do both layers of fabric at the same time. Let's just Hot Wheel this mother. Here we go. Peel that paper off. There it goes. Now we're going to place the other piece of fabric. Press it. I'm trying not to stretch it because you don't want to stretch any of this. Get bubbles and whatnot. All right, here we go. Let's take it to the machine.
It's ready. Wait.
It is ready?
Yeah, it's ready.
All right, here we go. Again, just using my zipper foot, getting as close as possible. And right now I thought it was going to chunk down into the plate, but it didn't. Right now I'm using a 3 millimeter. You'd probably want to use a 2.5 millimeter stitch length. But 3 if you're using vinyl, by the way. Remember, don't pull, don't try to stretch it. If you're not using a cording foot, get as close as you can. You can always take another pass if you're not happy with it. So just remember that. This is not, heart surgery or brain surgery. You can just do it again. Nobody's going to freak out.
Are you going to iron it?
Yes, I'm going to iron it.
Oh, okay.
You know it. Because what's the rule of thumb with sewing? Good pressing makes a difference. Now, I did not get this perfect, and if this was in a bag, I would probably take another pass. Because sometimes one side looks fabulous and the other maybe isn't as perfect as you want it. But then again, perfection is overrated.
Beverly Randall has a question.
Okay. I'm going to press this real quick. Where did you get your earrings? Oh, thanks for asking. I got these at the Madison Quilt Show from a group that goes to Africa. And what did they do? It was either a church mission or they provided water for various neighborhoods in Africa. And this is how they fundraised the money. They were at the quilt show. I can't remember exactly their name, but I need to find out. And if they're there this year, I'll let you all know.
Let me go to the sewing
Huh?
table.
Oh, sure. Thank you. That would be fabulous. I forget where I'm at sometimes. Now, because this is cut on the bias, this curve looks fabulous and it pops and it's just, it all works. And because we did our little notches, it works. I'm going to go back to the overhead camera over here. Now, don't judge me. It's not perfect. I'm standing up.
Let me do it.
Just take a load off for a second. Okay, there we are. See how it works? It's just a fun little detail.
That's pretty.
Yeah. And if you practice, you will get better at it. It's one of those things, you might not get it right out of the gate, but eventually you will. And then you can put it in everything. I love it. Now, I know somebody's going to be asking here, how do you join two ends of piping? And honestly, we can leave that for another day, but I can just quickly show you a quick little kind of walkthrough. So this piping, let's use this edge, right? This piping would be coming along here, and let's say it's ending here, right? So you would curve this off and then sew this one, so it's kind of like an X. That's going to be hard to hold to show you really properly. But basically, you're just kind of curving this one off the edge. Maybe I could use a little tape. And then sewing the other one coming in to meet it and curving it off so that the piping, the cording is straight all the way across. And somebody here has probably done this 1,000 times. Maybe they can word it better than I am. And go right ahead. Kind of like this. So that when this is in another seam, you barely notice it. There will be a little match point, and that's okay. You don't really notice it. But if you don't want that lump to be there, all you have to do, this is so funny, you guys, you just take this, open it a smidge. See that webbing, that cording inside there? Pull it. Cut off like an inch. Bring this back out. And then there you go. It's flat at that part, and nobody will ever know that there's no cording in there. It just works. I don't know how, but it just works.
Here's another, Kathy has another suggestion here.
Okay, another suggestion. Can't you open the piping and join it? Well, if you want to, that would be opening it on two different pieces, right? So when I have done it in garments before, I just pull a little section of the cording out and I do this technique, and I just try to do it in an area that isn't super high visibility, and it's been fine. But I'm sure you can, I'm sure you can do that. Do whatever you want. I know that I have a vintage Singer sewing book, and this is also how they do it, is this way. But you know what? There's 1,000 ways to do something, right? So do what works for you. Anything else?
No.
Is anyone here?
Yeah, there's people here, but we don't usually do the introduction.
Right, because it's usually a tutorial. Recorded. We might have to do some more live tutorials in the next few weeks because it just takes a really long time to shoot a video and then edit it and put it all together and blah, blah, blah. I think sometimes lives are just a little bit easier, even though it's a little more nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you look fine.
So,
even if it was nerve-wracking, you don't look it.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm hardly ever nerve-wracked. No, I'm a hippie. We're just chill. So this is, I think that's it. That's all I've got for you. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. And if I didn't get to you, I will go into the comments later and absolutely help. As always, you can Google piping and find lots of different ways to do things. So I always encourage you to do that. Nobody can know everything. And sometimes what might work for me doesn't work for somebody else, and that's okay. That's the beauty of sewing, artistry, stuff like that. You know, we don't all have to do it the same way to get a great result. All right, so a couple of things. I want to remind you that we have my birthday bash on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central. We'll be live selling. We've never done that before on our website, and it's going to be on our website, SewHungryHippie.com. So that'll be new and very exciting. Hopefully it all goes swimmingly. The other thing is next Sunday, I won't have a tutorial because I hope you'll watch Sarah Lawson's tutorial at Sew Sweetness at 7 p.m. Central. I will be on there with her. So we're going in and we're going to visit with Sarah and Danny, and we hope to see you over there. So I'll link that in my SMS messages if you're signed up for those, and I'll link it in my email as soon as possible. And then we'll be back. And then it's, you know, it's March. Can you believe that? And we know we still owe you a pajama pant video. It's happening. It's still going to be cold here in the north for a long time, even though the sun's out and we're going to have a few days of warmth. We have snow sometimes in May here in Wisconsin, so I'm not too worried about it. And even though we'll be using flannel, you can always use cotton, and it'll be the same technique. It'll be just fine. All right. Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your Sunday night, and I will see you next week on Tuesday, hopefully. Peace, love, sewing.